You can catch me later in the morning. Out with my whole team, we drank our ass off. I'ma be the one that's chillin', sitting cozy with the OG vintage Snapback on. You can catch me later in the morning. Out with my whole team, we drank our ass off. I'ma be the one that's chillin', sitting cozy with the OG vintage Snapback on. Feel good, yeah, I look good, yeah, feel good, look good.
Hey guys, welcome to the first episode of Snapbacks and Mimosas. I'm your host, Ednos Ergi, aka that nigga, and I'm so happy and so excited about the support that I've seen so far through IG, through words of encouragement. It really means a lot, and I'm hoping that this platform can help not just me, but also help other people out there. Mimosa break. Okay. Yeah, so on that post, I said that I would explain the whole idea of this podcast in more detail, and I think that's the best way to start off this first episode. And so there's 5 questions that I'm going to ask myself and answer it for you guys, and describing why I decided to start a podcast. So, first question is why? Like, why do you want to do a podcast? Like, it's been done, it's been overdone, blah blah blah. To answer that question, it's been something that's been on my mind for a minute now. I've always been a creative type of person, ever since I've been a kid, from 6th grade playing in the band, playing the trumpet, to, college, being on the stage and like acting in Frontier Fiesta plays. It's just been a part of who I am. And I felt like I was getting away from that creative side of myself, and in a sense losing a part of myself. So I was like in the shower one day, and I was just like thinking, and all your best ideas come in the shower. I'm just gonna say that, but you usually just don't act on them. But this day I decided to act on it and put it into fruition. And so yeah, it's more of a selfish reason why I've started it, but the end result isn't a selfish reason. I made it. I'm making it to help others, not just myself. So that leads into the second question of like, what's the purpose? So Snapbacks and Mimosas, the purpose of this whole podcast is to connect a lot of people, connect everyone, connect people that you already know. And what I mean by connect is, well, first of all, this whole platform is about creative people and creating a whole lane of life for yourself. And then there's been people that's already created another lane for themselves. And there's people out there that are afraid to create a lane for themselves, or they just don't know how to. And that's the thing that's stopping you from creating that lane is how do I do that? Like, what's the step to create that lane? And that's where most of our ideas stop, is the how. And I feel like we have a lot of friends that have created lanes for themselves, but I don't know if it's our ego, of our own pride, or we just are too afraid or ashamed to ask how to do something that stops us from asking. That's holding us back, or you just don't know the first step to take in general. And so this whole platform is connecting you with those friends that you already have. Like, it's all about the connection of a connection that can lead to a better life or a better lifestyle for yourself. So my idea is bringing those creative people, whether it be like an artist, a musician, or photographer, or anyone who's creating another lane. Even if it's like real estate, just creating another life for yourself. I want to bring that to the forefront and bring that to your front door, essentially. So I'm going to interview people that I already know, people that you probably already know, and ask them like how did they get to that point that they are now, because everybody has a journey that takes them to that certain spot, and every journey has their ups and downs, and the more information we know, the better we're equipped to handle those situations. So I want to just bring that to you guys. So that's the whole purpose of Snapbacks and Mimosas. Cool. And then that leads me to my third question is like, why did you call it Snapbacks and Mimosas? Mimosas coming back up. But like, why would you call it Snapbacks and Mimosas? And that's a story in itself. So back when I was in Houston with the bros, shout out to the bros, the cabrones, we would go out for brunch and stuff, and I feel like and we were talking about like creating our own podcast, and like all these ideas were just thrown around the table, and we never acted on, obviously. But one name that shot out, and I've always remembered that name because I thought it was dope as hell, was Draco's and Mimosas. Obviously, I'm not gonna call my podcast Draco's and Mimosas because I don't have a gun. Like, that's stupid. Shout out to Soulja Boy though, because he made a name for himself. But I like the idea of mimosas, and I wanted to put like my own swag and my own being into it, and I chose Snapbacks because obviously that's just the style that I have and who I am, kind of a retro type of guy. So I chose Snapbacks and Mimosas. Snapbacks to represent me, but the mimosas part is the most intriguing part, because if you've ever been to brunch, and I know most of you have, like brunch is like the day where all your friends come together and they exchange ideas and they talk, and like there's just this positive energy just all around brunch, and it's just like, I don't know if it's just like a Sunday vibe, or like everyone has like they outfit, they looking nice, they feel good, like the music's playing, everyone's laughing, and it's just like an open area of ideas that's been expressed between friends. And I want this platform to be that same way, that same feel of just like an openness of, just a good positive vibe of just ideas that are meant to enhance our lives. So that's why I decided to go with mimosas. So Snapbacks and Mimosas. That's the reason behind the name. And yeah. And so also my last question with this whole thing is talking about the logo and the theme song that I have for the podcast. So I'll start off with the logo. So the logo was created by one of my childhood friends from high school, Jason Yang, and he's already done a piece for me before, and he's a really talented artist. Like, I'm not just saying that because he's my friend. I just really do appreciate his work, and I think it's cool. I bought a piece for my brother for Christmas, and he loved it, and it's just like an amazing piece. And so he was the first person that popped in my mind when I needed to get a logo design. And I also want to practice what I'm preaching to you guys, like connections. Like, he is one of my connections, and I feel like this is a platform for me to at least express his work to whatever masses that I do have. And so he's the artist, Jason Yang. I'm also going to have him as my first interview. So tune into that, because I think his story is pretty dope too. But yeah, so like I wanted to have my friend create that and have a connection for that whole, my whole podcast show. And then the theme song is made by my younger brother. As most of you guys know, he's a musician, and I will never stop, promoting my brother's stuff because I think it's dope as shit. And why not have my brother be on a podcast, with me at all times. Every time I play, he's there with me. And I feel like that's, the dopest thing that I can do. He's talented as hell. I mean, he's going to blow up eventually. So I wanted to make sure that, I practice what I preach as well and keep that close to me. So, and he's gonna be on one of these shows as well, and you can actually take a deeper dive into his mind and his work as well. So like all those questions are the reason why I decided to start this whole podcast, and it's gonna be dope as shit. I'm really excited, like I said. It's going to be amazing. And for every show, like I want to end like the show with like some like wise words from like either me or like my guest that I have to interview. But since it's only me and I don't have any wise words right now, mimosa break. I don't have any wise words right now. I'm going to leave you with a story, because we all watched The Last Dance, and The Last Dance took over like America because there's nothing else to do right now in quarantine. So we always tuned into that. And my favorite story that came out of that was the flu game, aka the food poisoning game. And he was like so determined, even though that he was like, we got some haters that poisoned his food and like wanted him to fail. Even pretty much on his deathbed, he was pretty much dying out there. He went out there and played one of the best games of his career, I would say, even though he's had better games. But like, you're dying out there and you're dropping like 40 points. It's crazy. So it's my story isn't as crazy as that, but I think it's funny because like it's just how my mental works. So in high school, I was in the band, and I was in the band at this time. So in high school, I didn't want to go to class, or I didn't want to go to this specific class. I don't remember why, but I just didn't want to go. And there was a blood drive donation going on. So I decided like, you know what, I'm just going to give blood so I can just get out of class. So I did that. Like I went, gave blood. I was like, they take a shit ton of blood out of you. So you're kind of lightheaded, kind of woozy. And they're like, do not do anything extraneous like at all today or tomorrow or whatever they tell you. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing anything, whatever. And then I go to the band. I forget that we have like a competition, right? And this is like my senior year, so like I'm like a very vocal part of the band. I would say I'm not gonna say I'm the best player. I'm not, but like my part was needed. So I'm there. We're going to this competition, which I forgot we had, and I told my band director, I was like, I just gave blood, and they told me I can't do anything extraneous, blah blah blah. And he looked at me like I'm a fucking idiot, because obviously that I was at the time, and he was just like, why would you do that? I was like, I wanted to get out of class, and he was like, you're an idiot. So during the whole time, I had all these band parents like pumping me with like Gatorade and like all this water and stuff, trying to get my fluids going. And like in my mind, like MJ is like my favorite player of all time, and I'm just like, yo, I gotta go do this. I gotta play my ass off. This is my flu game. Like the band is counting on me. The band is counting on me. And so like I'm going out there, I'm marching. In my head I was like, I can't mess up. Like I gotta like play the perfect game, blah blah blah. And it ends. We march back to our seats, and like like I'm not dying, but like in my head I'm like over exaggerating what just happened. And so like I sit down on the stands and I like lay back like I just dropped 55 on these niggas like and they're like giving me Gatorade and I'm just like whew, team on the back though. So yeah, I just wanted to share that story because the flu game just reminded me of that whole thing. So yeah, so thank you. If you actually stayed this far listening to me talk, I do appreciate that. So go ahead and subscribe to my channel, Snapbacks and Mimosas podcast, on YouTube, and follow me on IG at Snapbacks and Mimosas. And tune in because tune in for the next episode or the next podcast with my boy Jason, where we ask him about his life and we get some life tips on how he can be an amazing person. So again, I appreciate all the support, and Eddie out.